Thomas Nelson Community College Historic Triangle Campus grand opening, September 25th, 2009. Sanford Wanner.
No, Warner.
Warner. Cut that. Sanford Warner. Warner.
Warner. I don't want her, you can have her.
You know what? You're a pro at that one. I'm going to let you introduce yourself. Welcome, everyone, to Thomas Nelson Community College's Historic Triangle Campus grand opening. We have one of the key individuals who helped make this dream a possibility today. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you for letting me be part of this. I'm Sandy Warner. I'm the County Administrator of James City County, and it's been my privilege and honor to work with the Thomas Nelson Community College faculty and leadership for in excess of 12 years to make today a reality. We were part of the original group looking for a site that backed up the Thomas Nelson feasibility study done in 1997. It's hard to believe it's been this long to make this a reality. At one time, we were looking at Eastern State Hospital trying to reuse what was known as the Hancock Geriatric Center. When that fell through, the Board of Supervisors of James City County offered to the state 74 acres here on what is known as the War Hill tract for this new exciting campus and facility. You may know that this facility is located adjacent to our newest high school,
Yes.
War Hill High School, and also down the road from the high school is the James City County Stadium. And soon your neighbor will be the James City County new police headquarters. So we're taking advantage of the land opportunities, but also more importantly to me, the partnerships for lifelong learning. Learning is critical to our citizens, and I think the fact that James City County is one of the fastest growing communities in the Commonwealth, and then if you take the whole historic triangle, it's going to be a lot more convenient for our citizens to stay in this area than to trek down 64 given some of the transportation problems.
Thank you for that brief history. I appreciate that. What do you think has been Thomas Nelson Community College's contribution to the area since the college has had a presence?
I think the contributions are in two areas. One, to provide the opportunity for students post-high school, as well as people who want to return to get their education completed and then to launch them into the world of work. I also, working with Thomas Nelson, has been the opportunities to develop our workforce, which is absolutely critical here in the 21st century. Thomas Nelson has always been a great asset for education, and I think the fact you now have two campuses on the peninsula is going to bode well for the future.
Wonderful. I thank you so much for your time
you're
today.
quite-
And
you're
sir,
quite-
you enjoy the ceremony.
You're quite welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. County Administrator.
I'm with immediate past chairman of the Thomas Nelson Community College Board, Mr. Joseph Gutierrez, at Thomas Nelson Community College's Historic Triangle Campus grand opening ceremony. Thank you so much, Mr. Gutierrez, for joining us today. Good to
Pleasure.
see you.
Thank you.
What do you think has been Thomas Nelson Community College's contribution to the region since the presence was established here?
Well, I think you can just look around and see the economic vitality. The Williamsburg, York County, James City County area has greatly been able to enhance student skills. Those skills are applicable to the 21st century. You see Cannon's presence, you see the shipyard expansion, and all of that ripples effect throughout the peninsula. So when you look at Thomas Nelson, you can't just look at any one area. You have to look at us as a whole, and the economic benefits alone are staggering. Plus, I have children who came to Thomas Nelson and took those classes that allowed them to save some time and me to save some money when they transferred to the University of Virginia into James Madison. So I think there's another opportunity there for us to recognize the fact that Thomas Nelson provides quality academic experiences for students that allow them to achieve some of their education while they're still home or at least within the local community.
Wonderful. Thank you again for joining us, and I look forward to a nice program today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm here with Chairman of Thomas Nelson Community College's local college board, Mr. Rosie Takezian. Good afternoon, Mr. Takezian.
Good
Thank you for
afternoon,
joining us at the historic Triangle Campus grand opening today. Take two. I'm here this afternoon with Thomas Nelson Community College Board Chairman, Mr. Rosie Takezian. Good afternoon, Mr. Takezian. How are you?
Good afternoon, Ms. Baker.
Thank you so much for joining us at the historic Triangle Campus grand opening this afternoon.
Thank you.
What do you think Thomas Nelson Community College's impact has been in the region?
Well, fortunately, I've had the opportunity to serve on the board some 9 years now, and I've seen a tremendous amount of growth. Actually, the student body has doubled during that time period. Now we had a number of about 15,000, and opening this new facility here in Williamsburg, which as of this past week has something like 1,700 students, is a big plus. So I foresee us in the next 5 years probably having 4,000 or 5,000 students just in this location. I think it means a lot to the community. Our workforce development is a big asset for businesses in being able to train people that work in our particular area. And also the kids that want to go on with a 4-year degree, being able to go to Old Dominion, William & Mary, Christopher Newport, and other colleges has been a big plus too, and they've done extremely well in their curriculums. So they're the things that I foresee, and I'm very excited about being a part of this.
Thank you so much, sir. Enjoy the ceremony.
Thank you.
I'm at Thomas Nelson Community College's grand opening for our historic Triangle campus with Delegate Bill Barlow. Good afternoon, Delegate. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good to be here. I'm very honored to be here.
Wonderful. What do you think Thomas Nelson Community College's impact has been in the region?
Well, Thomas Nelson is just doing an outstanding job, particularly in regard to workforce development. It's the community college mission is extremely vital at this point because jobs are at a premium. The community colleges are leading the way in preparing people, giving them the skills that they need to hold down some excellent jobs. So we are very pleased with the work that Thomas Nelson is doing, and I'm particularly pleased now that we're opening this campus, the historic Triangle campus in the Williamsburg community, because there's so many people in this area that very much need the services that Thomas Nelson provides.
Thank you so much, sir. Enjoy the program.
Okay, thank you very much. Good to see you.
Good afternoon. You ready? I'm sorry. Good afternoon. I'm here with Council. Good afternoon. I'm here with Councilman Bobby Braxton of Williamsburg. Thank you so much for joining us at Thomas Nelson Community College's grand opening for our historic Triangle campus. What do you think Thomas Nelson's impact has been in the community?
It's been absolutely marvelous. Let's just say great. I've known and worked with Thomas Nelson ever since the first regime. I think it was Dr. Taylor and with the workforce environment. And they have been an absolutely great partner.
Thank you. Enjoy the program.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good afternoon. I'm here with Delegate. Good afternoon. I'm here with Delegate Brenda Pogge at Thomas Nelson Community College's grand opening ceremony for our historic Triangle campus. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon, Delegate Pogge. Take two. Good afternoon. I'm here with Delegate Brenda Pogge at Thomas Nelson Community College's grand opening ceremony for our historic Triangle campus. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. What do you think Thomas Nelson Community College's impact has been in the region?
I think Thomas Nelson has had a great impact in the region, preparing young people for entry in the workforce. And you know, just yesterday, Forbes magazine named Virginia the best state to do business with. And I think Thomas Nelson has played a big role in that because businesses look for quality education and quality of life when deciding where they're going to locate. And I think Thomas Nelson has been a big asset in attracting businesses and giving our kids entryway into the workforce. And we have been so excited about the opening of this college.
Thank you. Enjoy the program.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm here with Delegate Phil Hamilton at Thomas Nelson Community College's grand opening ceremony for our historic Triangle campus. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you, Belinda.
You're so welcome. What do you think Thomas Nelson's impact has been in the region?
Well, you know, there's a lot of talk these days about access and affordability of higher education. And in our region, Thomas Nelson is the institution that provides that for young people. And not only just young people, it's a great retraining center. And with the economy being what it is today, Thomas Nelson is, it's kind of the pearl in the oyster. It's done a great job for many, many years in our region. And this new historic Triangle campus is just fantastic.
Well, thank you so much, sir. You enjoy the program.
Thank you. All righty.
I'm at Thomas Nelson Community College's historic Triangle. Good afternoon. We're here at Thomas Nelson Community College's grand opening ceremony for our historic Triangle campus. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. I welcome you to the program and wanted to know what you think Thomas Nelson Community College's impact has been in the region.
Sure. I've been on the York County Board of Supervisors now for 14 years. This year I had the privilege of being the chairman, and I will tell you that the Thomas Nelson Community College experience for York County, and I suspect the peninsula, very importantly, the historic triangle comprised of the city of Williamsburg, James City County, and York County, this particular campus, as well as the main campus down the lower part of the peninsula, add to an area that, in my opinion, and I think that's borne out by the media, our region, our area, is known worldwide. Its reputation for higher education and the learning experience is not just local, but Commonwealth-wide, nationally, and internationally, and I think that speaks for itself. So this beautiful campus, of course, is going to add to all of that. We're excited about it in York County. We've had a long partnership with Thomas Nelson Community College, and we look forward to that continued partnership.
Thank you, sir.
Sure.
Enjoy the program.
My mother just died 2 days ago. I had no problem. That's when we got it. We still had ours. No. It ain't what it used to be. Route 29 is. Well, you remember when I came here from 29 from 32, went from rocks and dirt up
Oh. Read this. Arms. Please stand for the national anthem. Order. Arms. Colors. Colors turn. Arms. Good afternoon. Thank you all for being here on this wonderful occasion. To our platform guests, including members of our board, the college, the board of our foundation, the chancellor, many distinguished guests, including legislators, students, faculty, staff, and ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us on this occasion to celebrate this historic event today, the grand opening of the first building of the college's new historic Triangle campus. This celebration gives us a moment to reflect on all the hard work that brings us here today. Many people have toiled long and hard for many years to bring this dream to fruition. I wish to express my deep gratitude to James City County leaders, officials of Virginia's community colleges, and especially our bankers, that is, our legislators, for their persistence and dedication on behalf of the citizens of James City County, York County, and Williamsburg. This is a tricky piece of business. I'm about to introduce some very special women and men who played key roles in making this dream come true. Starting with our Chancellor, Dr. Glenn Dubois. Stand, please. Delegate Philip Hamilton from the House of Delegates, 93rd District. Delegate William Barlow from the 64th District. Delegate Brenda Kogi from the 96th District. Mr. Sanford B. Plonner, County Administrator, James City County. Mr. Robert Braxton, Council Member from the City of Williamsburg. And Ms. Melanie R. Beal, who's a former member of the Virginia House of Delegates. Now, I suspect that I've omitted some, and if I have, please stand. Any other elected officials? Thank you, Senator Thomas Norman and Mayor Zeitler and the County Administrator of York County, James McGrinnell, send regrets that they cannot join us today. There are others who are representing Mosley Architects and W. Jordan Construction Company. From Old Dominion, Dr. Charles Wilson. From Mosley, Matthew Shirk. Laura Lyons. From W. Jordan, Bob Holland. And I did see Civil Weekly as well. And Dr. Charles Taylor is here, former president. Obviously, there are lots of others, and there is not time to mention them all. I've mentioned our college board and the board of our foundation, and both the new chair of the board we hear from very shortly, Mr. Takesian, will speak, but I'd also like to acknowledge our foundation board chair, Commissioner the Honorable Ross Mugler. But the cabinet of the college is here, my colleagues who are charged with the day-to-day operations of this great institution. There are several representing other institutions in the community college system, and I know that there are members of Chancellor Dubois' cabinet here as well. We welcome them. There are a number of former board members who are here. We're delighted that you could join us. And there are other elected officials representing the various jurisdictions in our service district, a number of business and community leaders. We're all gratified that you're here and grateful that you have supported us over the years, and we know that we will justify your support of us as we go forward. This is a very special time for Thomas Nelson. This campus offers great potential, we think, to expand the wonderful work of an outstanding community college system that plays, in my judgment, an underappreciated role in the life of the Commonwealth. That is changing rapidly, largely because of what we do and the skill and dedication with which we do it. This building represents, I think, in many ways, a continued expansion of the role of community colleges in higher education in Virginia, but more especially, it represents, in large measure, what is possible when we work together. This very nice building offers a number of programs in liberal arts, business administration, emergency medical services, information technology, nursing, computer-aided drafting, design, technology, and lots of others. It's also going to feature our new dental hygiene program, which will open next fall, and which we think augurs well for anchoring an expanded presence in allied health in this region at this campus. As our nation seeks to compete more effectively in the global marketplace, Thomas Nelson stands ready to play an increasingly expanding role in providing quality education and workforce development training. Let me affirm that we are committed to enhancing our ability to meet the economic development needs of the entire region. That is our mission, that is our passion, that is our calling. Again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us to officially open this new campus. Inspired by your interest and support, we are poised to leverage our considerable assets to fulfill the promise of Thomas Nelson Community College in our service areas and throughout the entire Commonwealth. Thank you and God bless. I now welcome to the podium our immediate past chairman of our board, Mr. Joseph Gutierrez.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
It didn't rain. I think that's a good sign. It rained earlier, not now. On behalf of Thomas Nelson's Community College's local board, I want to welcome you. This event is very special to all of us, and it's made more special to me in some ways because I'm a resident of James City County, and I serve on the local board as a James City County representative, one of two, I might add. I do want to thank the Board of Supervisors, the County Administrator, Glenn, his team, as well as the leadership team at Thomas Nelson, past President Charles Taylor, and others who worked so hard to make this happen. I'm not the official thank you guy today, but there are a couple more I really need to say. I had no idea, and I don't think any of us did, how much effort this project was going to take when we began to work on it. The process was long, it was arduous, and without the dedicated service and support of our local and state elected officials, this would have never happened. I was in meetings in Richmond, some of them were very long, with Melanie Rapp, former new name now, but that was the name she was going by then, Delegate Rapp, Delegate Hamilton, and Senator Norman, some others regarding this particular project. They did a lot of heavy lifting in Richmond, and we very much appreciate that. In addition, local college board members, both past and present, made significant contributions. Bill Monroe, a former chair, is here today, and he began the process of designing this building. You may not know it, but the local board is composed of representatives from all of the peninsula, and this building was something that everyone united behind. We all understood its need. Many of those folks are no longer on the board, but we stood on their shoulders as we went through this process. And Dr. McKinley Price, who preceded me and was chair during this time period, gave untold hours, a lot of selfless service. I think your board has done a lot to help with bold and selfless service. In final analysis, I just want to thank everybody who was behind this project, both publicly and behind the scenes. It's a new pillar in our community, and it's going to have a tremendous impact. Thomas Nelson's relationship with our community dates back 30 years. What you see before you today is a result of a vision that was born more than a decade ago. While we celebrate a monumental accomplishment in the college's desire to grow and serve the residents of James City County, Williamsburg, and the entire peninsula, this campus is evidence of that goal. Our strategic partnerships and commitment to providing excellent educational training for every member of this community is enhanced by this structure. This is not the culmination of a mission, but rather the beginning of a mission. It is the beginning of Thomas Nelson's plan to enrich student experience, providing training opportunities for new and returning students, and to give every member of the community the chance to explore, excel, and succeed in a state-of-the-art environment. The campus is a fertile intellectual environment that will help students cultivate academic and vocational success in a wide variety of programs. We are pleased not only with the structure, but also with the dedicated team of professionals who is going to make the best out of this opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Now I'd like to call to the podium our newly elected chair, Mr. Roosevelt Takeizi. Roosevelt.
do want to convey a history lesson that I think is of interest since it's my birthday. Dr. Schicksnyder said I could do what I wanted to do. I'd like to start first going back to Howard Waters, who's the executive in advertising in Newport News, the board chairman. When I was asked to serve representing Williamsburg on the Thomas Nelson board, and he was an outstanding person. And at that time, I had heard that a feasibility study had been made pertaining to having a building of this sort in the Williamsburg area, and I got pretty excited, and I thank the City Council of Williamsburg in having me play that role as a representative. Following Mr. Waters, Dr. Raymond Washington, superintendent of schools in Hampton, became a very outstanding member, and he worked very closely with Dr. Pippin, our president, to carry this mission forward. And a lot of discussion was made at that time, and also we were excited that we were going to open our new campus in the location in the hospital area, Eastern State Hospital. So we had drawings of all the existing buildings and how we were going to raise the roof and how we were going to put in new windows, how we were going to make it an outstanding walking campus. Well, as time went on, Senator Norman informed me and many other members that the state had other plans for Eastern State and we have to go elsewhere. Well, unbeknown to me, we had the administrator for James City County, Mr. Warner, who was monitoring this situation and quickly made a move in getting the War Hill property and allowing us to have the 77 acres while the high school has, I believe, 113 acres. I might be off a little bit, but I'm pretty close. And as I stand here, I keep seeing that second building over there. And the legislature will know about that when I visit. But I do see the second building going up soon, too. Following that, Mr. Bill Monroe became our chairperson, and Bill assigned me as a working member of the board to sit on the committee that helped design this building. The thing that impressed me so much was that the faculty of this college was used to do the design of the building. Not the VIPs, but the faculty of the college decided where the biology department was to be, where the nursing department was to be, where the data units were to be located, where chemistry was to be. And I encourage every one of you, if you can't do it today, to walk through this premise, because I rank it among the best building of all the colleges in the state of Virginia. And I mean that sincerely, and you'll see it when you go through there. Because of Mr. Monroe's assigning me to that, I got to work with the detail items. And then Dr. McKinley Price, who became our next chairman, continued to allow me to participate in the design and construction. And at that time, our president, Dr. Taylor, became very active and spent many hours dealing with the chancellor, the legislative bodies, going back and forth night and day, trying to get everything ready so that the building would take place. And we were very, very excited with Dr. Taylor's leadership in doing that. Then Joe Goodyear, which you all just heard from, is an outstanding executive and an outstanding chairman of the board, came on board and pretty much worked with Dr. Schicksnyder in seeing the completion of this premise. Well, we had one bad thing that happened. Unbeknown to us, the legislatures had approved something like $2.5 million for us to put a dental hygienist school in, and Dr. Schicksnyder had that assignment in January to quickly issue a change order in this building to house 11 dental chairs, and also a waiting room for the public when they are able to use this facility after 2010. And those dental chairs are in. Dr. Schicksnyder did an outstanding job in making it happen. I do want to recognize and thank Shirley Pippin for her contribution and vision. Peter Spinner, who was our interim president that kept the glue there so that we could go on. Charles A. Taylor, who was our president for the past 3 years, and Dr. Alvin Schicksnyder, who is our present president, and hopefully our chancellor would allow him to stay with us a couple years and continue, hopefully, doing the digging of the second building. There were 2 other individuals, and those board members that are here, that need to be recognized because I visualized and participated the many hours, night and day, and that is Howard Taylor, who was Vice President of Finance and Administration. He's the one that drew the drawing for the Eastern State. Then we had to throw that away, and then he met with Mosley Architects, and then we drew up this particular school with the faculty members. And during these 9 years that I have been associated, representing again my lovely city of Williamsburg, there was a gentleman who was on the faculty and later became a board member, Richard Calvert, who worked hard and many, many hours to make this thing happen. Unfortunately, Richard's wife is quite ill and he's unable to leave her. And the ironic thing about it, he probably had as much to do with this as anyone. He lives about 2 par 5 holes through those trees. That's where his home is, and it's ironic that this school is almost in his backyard. But Dick Calvert, thank you very much for the things that you did over that period of time. I want to thank Delegate Hamilton, who's been a great soldier in helping us with his peers in the legislature. Mr. Barlow, who's helped us with his peer in the legislative body. Tommy Norman, I'm sorry he's not here, but he has also been a big helper. And Delegate Brenda Poche, she is here. She took Melody's job, Melody Rapp. I have a hard time with Melanie Field, but I guess I'll have to call her Ms. Field, but I like Melanie Rapp for their contribution and help, and I appreciate that. I'd like to end by saying that I can't think of a better birthday present than I've had today of seeing this occasion take place. Because I remember being a rookie on the board and looking up to the number of mentors that guided me to become a good board member. And then I was rewarded Wednesday night to become the chairperson, thanks to Joe Goodyear and our president and the present board. And I want to thank all of you for coming here. And as a favor, please visit this premise. It is a treat and it is worth it. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosie. Well, you now know that there's a second reason for our being here today, and it's because he's got a birthday. We've got an outstanding organization leading the Virginia Community College system and an outstanding leader, and I'm pleased and honored to present to you Dr. Glenn Dubois. Glenn?
Thank you, Alvin. Well, ladies and gentlemen, what a great day. My first day on the job, July, let's 2nd, I believe. In 2001, I was working on this project, and here we are almost a decade later. This goes to show you some great things really are more than just a quick horse race. This is truly an outstanding accomplishment, and I want to convey our appreciation to everybody who's been mentioned here, all of the partners. As is the case with most of you, this is not my first visit to this new and wonderful looking campus. Earlier this month, it served as a backdrop as I spoke to multiple radio and television stations across Virginia about the massive enrollment wave of thousands upon thousands of individuals who are coming to our community colleges. And there is really no better way to illustrate how we're working to serve those students than to let everybody see what we're doing here at Thomas Nelson's historic Triangle campus. Alvin, a lot of folks were singled out today. I also want to single you out of the outstanding leadership. We plopped you in at a critical time, and you kind of grabbed the ball and brought the project over the finish line. Thank you so much, sir, for your contribution. And let me just reach out to the leaders of James City County. Sandy, we remember those conversations that we had, and some of them were difficult. And, thank God we had a Tommy Norman around from time to time, and in his very quiet and soothing way, he would bring us together and kind of push us over the finish line. You know, friends, throughout the state, we have a lot of partnerships, and one I want to just highlight because we're here, the partnerships we have with high schools. But here we're going to, this partnership is primarily to what we do with dual enrollment, but here we're going to elevate that relationship, hopefully bringing here a national example of what we can do in working with high school students. I'm really looking forward to it because I have a 16-year-old, a sophomore on the other side of the parking lot. And I can envision next year, in the junior and her senior year, her spending a good part of her high school experience taking college courses right here at Thomas Nelson. We were founded not long ago, less than my lifetime, about 40 years. And we were founded on the premise that everyone deserves an opportunity to learn and to grow. Everyone. Now what we're doing is we serve as a place where an entire community can come together, where it can come together and move forward together. We have workforce training programs focused on helping connect people with good paying and high paying jobs. And in our unprecedented transfer agreements, we let students begin to pursue the bachelor's degree right here and continue it down the road at a place that we call Love, William and Mary. But what makes this place, this campus, both impressive and important, I would suggest, is not necessarily the bricks and mortar, the ornaments. What makes it so impressive and important are its people. The people who will walk through these doors with bags full of books, a laptop computer, but more importantly, with dreams, with hope. The people who stand in front of the class of students, day in and day out, teaching, guiding, mentoring, and inspiring. The people who will keep this place safe and clean. At the end of the day, these people are what's really important about us coming here. It's the collection and collaboration of these people that will help elevate lives. As I said, our colleges exist on the premise that everyone deserves an opportunity to learn and to grow. It takes hard work and many people to fulfill that promise. And the work of the people here on this new campus is what will make it truly special. Thank you.
Thank you, Glenn. I mentioned earlier that we owe a great debt to the women and men who are generally known as legislators, but I like to refer to them as our bankers. And they are the persons who ensure that we have the resources to construct nice buildings, but also to do the heavy lifting that goes on daily at our institutions. So I'd like to start with the young man who serves a key role on the House Appropriations Committee in the House of Delegates, Delegate Phil Hamilton. Delegate Hamilton.
Good afternoon, and thank you very much for including me in the program today. You know, I'm one of 100 members of the House, and we've got 40 senators, which makes me part of a team. And none of this happens because of any one individual, but it happens because of a team. And the legislators that represent this region, I think, have done you well. But you know what makes it easy to do you well? Is you represent community. Thomas Nelson Community College. It's about community. And as you've heard, there are a lot of different facets of our community that have made this possible, this structure. But as was said, it's not about bricks and mortar. It's about the people. It's about the people that walk through these community college doors each and every day, whether they be the instructors, the young people entering college for the very first time, or those who are entering community college for the workforce development retraining that takes place. Virginia has an outstanding system of higher education. And I will tell you, the foundation of that system is the community college system. Because what we have done with the articulation agreements and the transfer grant program is we have made it possible to increase access, increase affordability for people who in the past never had the opportunity to get a higher education. It's an honor for me to be a part of that team that we call community. And in this region, as I said earlier today, when I was asked to reflect on Thomas Nelson and its impact in the region, what strikes me about Thomas Nelson throughout an entire system of higher education is that this place is the pearl of the entire system. Chancellor DuBois, you might as well get ready, because we're going to flip the plans for this building, and it's going right at the other end of this campus. The enrollment at Thomas Nelson is going to exceed all expectations. And the job that they do here at Thomas Nelson is going to put a challenge to the legislators from this region to go to Richmond and to do as we did for this facility. We will sell the next building at this campus to our colleagues. Congratulations to the Thomas Nelson community. Thank you very much.
Now I'd like to bring Delegate Bill Barlow.
Good afternoon to everyone. I'm honored to be here participating in this program today. I think it's fitting that I'd like to mention a couple of historic figures here in Virginia in relation to what's happened here today. One is the late Howard Flood Bird Sr., not to be confused with Howard Jr., who's probably in his 90s now. And the other one is Mills E. Godwin Jr. Mills E. Godwin Jr., also deceased, former governor of Virginia. His widow still lives in this community in the Williamsburg Landing facility. But let's look first at Howard Flood Bird Sr. Became governor of Virginia in the 1920s. Was a businessman in the Winchester area. Had the newspaper there, had apple orchards there. Decided to run for governor. He ran because Virginia at that time had a terrible transportation system. And the word was that his slogan was, "Let's get Virginia out of the mud." They said that back in that time, you go from one county to the other. It was a toll taken, as you went from one county to the other. Also, the roads were extremely muddy. There were signs up that said, "Choose your rut carefully because you're going to be in it for the next 10 miles." That's the way things were in Virginia back in the 1920s. But Harry Byrd, who later became Mr. Fiscal Conservative, extremely strong in fiscal conservative matters, insisted with the General Assembly in investing quite a bit of money in roads and highways here in Virginia. And it developed to the point that up until a few years ago, Virginia had one of the probably the top 10 highway departments, transportation systems in the country. Our roads now are, only 2 other states have more roads than we do, mileage-wise. That's California and Texas. That's a lot of roads to keep up, and that's part of our problem. But we're not here to talk about roads. We're here to talk about education. And unfortunately, Harry Flood Byrd Sr. and his organization, which has become very powerful, made a fatal mistake in the 1950s, in that they tried to shut down the public schools, the massive resistance policy. It was a terrible era in the history of the Commonwealth of Virginia. Fortunately, it ended, but we still have vestiges of it even today. But Mills E. Godwin Jr. then became the governor, and even before he became the governor, we had a legislator over in Southampton County, which is a rural county to the west of us, named Sam Pope Sr. And Sam Pope Sr. was a delegate. He served for many years in the General Assembly, and he was a farmer, and he didn't like paying so much real estate tax. So he came up with the idea we ought to diversify the tax base in Virginia. We ought to have a sales tax. Well, Sam would come up to Richmond every year. He'd appear before the committee. He'd advocate the bill to have a sales tax in Virginia. They would laugh at him, kill the bill, and then he'd go home and come back the next year and do it again. Year after year, he was turned down. But then, in 1966, we had a governor named Mills E. Godwin Jr., and here was a man who was so widely respected that he was elected both as a Democrat one time and another time as a Republican, very bipartisan. Mills E. Godwin Jr., who had been a member of the Byrd organization, but who realized that some of these policies were very bad and education in particular needed to be revised and revitalized here in Virginia. And so he came up with the idea that we need to have a community college system because other states were having it and they were doing quite well with it. But it had to have a funding mechanism, and he proposed, guess what? A sales tax. He was not laughed at. Sales tax Sam was, but Mills E. Godwin Jr., because of his influence, was highly regarded, and the General Assembly decided to pass the sales tax, and I don't know when it started at, 2 cents, 3 cents, whatever it was at the beginning. And as a result of that, the community college system that we now have and we're so proud of came into being. We're here today to dedicate this outstanding facility in the historic Triangle community. There's a saying that knowledge is power. And that's certainly what we are providing here in the community college system. Because if you can provide knowledge, that does generate power, and in the way that it provides skills to people who are willing to study hard and work hard and become ready to take a job. And these people, once they get a job, they get self-respect. They want to start it, they want to get married, they want to start a family, they want to build a home. And it all starts with a skill, with knowledge. And so we here in Virginia, and we here today, are very thankful for the opportunity that we've had to participate in another step forward here in Virginia as we try our very best to provide to our young people the opportunity to be the best that they can be. I thank all of you for the many things that you've done to enable this to come to pass. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bill. We'd now like to hear from Delegate Fogey.
Good afternoon. I am so very excited to be here. I live just down the road in Norwich, and I can attest to the excitement in this community as we watch this facility rise up from the ground up. And you know, it's fitting that we should be here in the historic Triangle today, dedicating this remarkable state-of-the-art facility named after my predecessor in the Virginia House of Burgesses. No, not Delegate Rapp, but one of our founding fathers, Thomas Nelson. Thomas Nelson was a strong supporter of education, liberty, and freedom, and a signer of the Declaration of Independence. Thomas Nelson Community College, in that same tradition, strongly supports education, liberty, freedom, and personal independence by offering the residents of our community a quality education at a reasonable price and preparing our young people to enter today's highly competitive workforce. Everyone knows how vital a good education is to economic liberty, freedom, and personal independence. Just yesterday, Forbes magazine named Virginia the best state to do business in for the 4th year in a row. Thomas Nelson has played a big role in earning Virginia that distinction. Businesses look at education and the quality of life and a well-trained workforce when they decide where to locate. For 42 years, Thomas Nelson Community College has been a tremendous asset and a partner with our community by elevating the quality of life for us and our children. I know firsthand, I have 2 sons enrolled here at Thomas Nelson Community College, and they are enjoying their educational experience. I was here the first day enrollments were taken. I spent the morning here getting my youngest son into college that morning. It gives me great pleasure to be here at the realization of this dream and to offer my congratulations and to share in this grand opening. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Delegate Fogey. In writing his memoirs, the late Secretary of State, Dean Acheson, entitled them Present at the Creation. And the person I'm about to bring up was literally present at the creation, Mr. Sandy Warner, who's James City County Administrator. Sandy, present at the creation. President Snyder, Chancellor Dubois, members of the General Assembly delegation, members of other governing bodies, ladies and gentlemen. Today is a triumph for Virginia, the community college system, the Thomas Nelson Community College family, and the citizens of the historic Triangle. It's the realization of a vision that came out of a feasibility study dated February 1997 that said there should be a campus in the historic Triangle. The first site recommended was Eastern State Hospital, which has been referred to. The second site was this property. We sit here today recognizing that this facility will provide the opportunity for lifelong learning, whether it is the students at Ward Hill High School, York High School, and the other high schools of the area. It is a wonderful opportunity. And it is no surprise that this campus is located on Opportunity Way. When we had the opportunity, after building the road, to name it and dedicate it to the Virginia Department of Transportation for maintenance, we chose that name because education
is the key to the world of opportunity. This campus does reflect many partnerships since we embarked on this journey since 1997. And it reflects, particularly for me as the County Administrator of James City, standing here today representing my Board of Supervisors and our citizens, it reflects the bold leadership of boards of supervisors who committed in excess of $10.5 million to include the dedication of 74 acres of land, plus the necessary infrastructure to support the building appropriated through the voter referendum approved by the General Assembly many years ago. It was our pleasure to deal with Shirley Pippins, Dr. Charles Taylor, Dean Dick Calvert, Interim President Pete Spina, and of course the current president, to make this a reality. My staff, some of them are here, Stephen Hicks, who led the PP Education Act team to develop this site. Leo Rogers, who did the diligent work dealing with the state on the agreements. And Bill Porter, my now retired Assistant County Administrator, who did a lot of heavy lifting. And he said to me one day, he never knew how difficult it was to give the Commonwealth 74 acres. I want to congratulate everyone who is involved in this project. I look forward to the second building, and the third, and the fourth. We are going to put on the road, across the road, in the near future, our new police headquarters to provide an opportunity for a living laboratory for criminal justice courses. Down the road behind the War Hill High School is the James City County Sports Stadium, which the campus faculty and the students can use for their enjoyment, except for Friday night lights. And I encourage and I admonish those who occupy this building, the living laboratory of democracy, the faculty, to continue your march toward excellence and continue to realize the vision of additional facilities to meet our growing needs for both an educated workforce and for people to realize their dreams. Thank you very much.
And now representing the City of Williamsburg, Mr. Robert Braxton, City Council.
President Shaq Snyder, Provost Travis, members of the College Board, students, and other distinguished guests. Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you, sir. This is a proud day not only for Thomas Nelson Community College, but for our entire community. And I'm honored to be here on behalf of the mayor and my fellow city council members to mark this important occasion. Having this beautiful new facility in our area will open doors not only to young people graduating from high school, but residents of all ages, backgrounds, and incomes. Those who work part-time or full-time, those who want to improve their skills to keep their jobs or enhance their careers, or those who simply want the opportunity to explore new talents and possibilities. In announcing this summer is American Graduation Initiative to support community colleges. President Obama said, I quote, "We have to make sure we are educating people for the new jobs of the 21st century," end quote. I'm excited to see the kinds of programs that the college will be able to provide in this new facility. Programs that educate the mind but also help prepare for a good career, such as computer arts, engineering, and the new dental hygiene program. Not everyone may be aware that the community colleges in general and Thomas Nelson in particular are training our healthcare providers. 59% of all new nurses and the majority of new healthcare workers are educated at community colleges, and healthcare is both a growth industry but also provides a service to the community. Thomas Nelson Community College has had a long history of collaboration with the city and the Historic Triangle, particularly in areas involving workforce development. TNCC has served as the one-stop operator since the inception of the Workforce Investment Act over 10 years ago, and has partnered with 3 localities, the Virginia Employment Commission and other organizations in the greater Williamsburg area. More recently, Thomas Nelson again became a partner with the City of Williamsburg in our Achieving Careers Today, the 2009 ACT Summer Youth Employment Program, serving out-of-school youth and young adults in the area. This working relationship will continue throughout the 2010 fiscal year and hopefully for many years to come. All of us here understand the importance of education and laying the groundwork for professional and personal successes. And while we also understand that the cost of an education is not a measure of its value, what Thomas Nelson provides our community, an education that is high quality, conveniently located, and affordable, and is a priceless commodity. We thank you for making this important investment in our community and our future.
Temporarily stray from retirement to come to Thomas Nelson, I said, well, first I have to check with Virginia. And he said, you mean the entire Commonwealth? I said, no, my wife. So I acknowledge my wife, Virginia's here this afternoon. Thank you for her support this past year. Dr. Travis, if you would come and close things out for us.
Thank you, sir. I'm Bill Travis, as Dr. Schechter said, and I have the extreme honor and privilege of serving as the provost of the Historic Triangle campus. What that really means is that I get to be here every day to work in this very beautiful facility, but significantly more importantly, to get to work with the staff and the faculty and the students who are here every day. And I would be remiss if I didn't take a moment just to point them out, because we have a great team. We have the team that develops and delivers the academic programs, the staff that work with the students every day to make sure that we're providing the services that they need, the great team that keeps all the technology in this building working, and very frankly, the great team that keeps the building looking as nice as it is, as pretty as it is, and working every day. And we, as a team, want to sincerely thank you for taking part of your Friday afternoon to come out here and help us celebrate this opening and recognize this great achievement for the college. For the rest of the day, in a moment, I will be asking the party to come up to cut the ribbon, the ceremonial ribbon cutting, and then I will ask our president and our chancellor to unveil the plaque, which we will then hang inside the building to commemorate this day. For those of you who are visiting us, we will say that we'll have some refreshments in the back. We encourage you to take a few moments and stay, and although I hope we don't need it, but if the weather should happen to turn bad on us, our student commons area is right there. We put it outside the doors. You can get inside right away. We would encourage as many of you as you can and would like you to come inside and to tour, to walk through the building. Just very briefly, the first floor consists of our library. In the center part is our student services area, and as I mentioned, our student commons is on that end. On the second floor are some of our academic classrooms, our computer labs, and I know an area of interest right at the top of the stairs is the new dental hygiene clinic. And our third stories will be our beautiful science labs, more of our classrooms, and our nursing lab, and our health sciences classroom for our non-credit workforce training program. So we have many things that we'd love to show you if you have a few moments to join us. With that, again, I want to thank you all for coming, and I'll ask the ribbon cutting party to please come forward.
You want to balance it off? All right, okay. Well, let's go ahead and grab this. Want everybody to hold it? Yes, please. Want everybody to grab it? Yeah. One, two, three. All right.
Let me get the
There we go.
speakers.
If that's your commitment.
Thank
Get
you.
a picture of that.
Yeah, that's
Vision. Vision. You want to go over here? Or you go to
Yeah,
the unveiling?
yeah, sure, right.
You're doing the unveiling.
And ladies and gentlemen, that does conclude the formal part of our ceremony this afternoon. Again, thank you very much for coming.
How do you do that? How do you do that?
You want the back of the envelope?
Expensive birthday present.
I said